Hi everyone, welcome back. In this session, we are going to have an introduction to the Black-Scholes model. Okay, so initially, if you remember, we started off with valuing options using a single period binomial tree, wherein we said that the share price can only change once during the option contract, and the share price can either go up or it can come down. Okay, if you remember the example that we have been taking right since the single period binomial model, we started off with a share price of $50, and we said that the option contract was for 6 months, and the share price could either go up by 10% from 50 to 55, or it could fall down by 10% from 50 to 45. Okay, so the assumption that we made in single period binomial was that the share price can only change once, that is at the last day, that is on the expiry of the option contract, and the share price can only take two possible values, either 55 or 45. Of course, this was an unrealistic assumption. From single period binomial, we then went on to two period binomial, wherein we said that the whole option contract of 6 months will be broken down into two halves. Two halves meaning each half containing 3 months. Okay, so we broke the whole 6-month period into two time steps, two each time step containing 3 months each. Okay, and then we said that the share price can now change actually twice during an option contract at the end of each time step, which means the share price can change once at t equal to 3 and the second time at t equal to 6. Okay, and at each time step, the share price can have two possible values from coming out from each particular node. Okay, so if you remember, if I just draw how the two period binomial looked like, we had a current share price today. This is t equal to 0. And then we said we broke the whole option contract of 6 months into two time steps, one at t equal to 3 and the other at t equal to 6. Okay, so these are the two time steps. All right, and then we said from each node there could be two possible share prices, and the share price change is going to be at the end of each time step, which means the share price is going to change once at t equal to 3 and the second time it would change at t equal to 6. Okay, so the current share price is at t equal to 0. It could change to either upper share price at t equal to 3 or to the bottom share price at t equal to 3. Okay, and from each node there are again going to be two possible share prices, which means at t equal to 6 there could be one possibility of an upper share price, another possibility of a downward share price, and this is coming from the upper node at t equal to 3. Similarly, at t equal to 3, there could be a possibility that the share price will be at the bottom node, right? So from the bottom node again, we could have an upper share price at t equal to 6 or a down move in share price at t equal to 6 again. Okay, so one thing is the share price is changing at the end of each time step, which means it is changing at t equal to 3 and at t equal to 6. And from every node, there are going to be two possible share prices. Okay, so if you actually see in this diagram, there are totally 4 possible paths for a share price. 4 possible paths to move from t equal to 0 up to t equal to 6. Okay, the first path is the share price today can increase at t equal to 3 and can from there it can further increase at t equal to 6. So the first path is basically this path. Okay, I mean, sorry, yeah, it is basically this path. All right, so the share price increases from t equal to 0 to t equal to 3, and it increases again from t equal to 3 to t equal to 6. That is the first path. Okay, the second path is the share price increases from t equal to 0 to t equal to 3, but then from t equal to 3 to t equal to 6, the share price actually falls. Okay, so this is basically the second path. Okay, now coming to the third path, the share price can actually fall from t equal to 0 to t equal to 3, and then it could rise from t equal to 3 to t equal to 6. Okay, this is the third path. Okay, so we have seen three paths till now. One is basically this, where the share price increases from t equal to 0 to t equal to 3 and from t equal to 3 to t equal to 6. The second path is where the share price increases from 0 to 3, but then it falls from 3 to 6. Okay, to reach this particular share price. The third path is where the share price falls from 0 to 3 and then it rises from 3 to 6 to again reach the same share price. Okay, so this particular share price actually has two possible paths, one up and down, or the second path is coming down first and then rising. Okay, and then the fourth path is basically where the share price is actually falling. Okay, it falls from 0 to 3 and then further falls from 3 to 6. Okay, so although there are basically 3 share prices, if you actually see there are only 3 share prices, but there are 4 possible paths. Okay, there are 3 share prices but 4 possible paths, because the middle share price actually has 2 possible paths, right? So this was a 2-period binomial, and then from 2-period binomial we could actually have a 3-period binomial where the whole option contract of 6 months can be divided into 3 equal periods or 3 time steps, where the length of each time step is actually 2 months. Okay, I said the whole 6-month contract can be divided into 3 time steps or 3 periods. One period is nothing but one time step. Okay, I mean, it's just a different convention of speaking. The 6-month contract can be divided into 3 time steps, and each time step is for a period of 2 months. Okay, and now we will say that the share price can change thrice during an option contract. In the single period binomial, we said it can change once. 2-period binomial, we're saying it can change twice. 3-period binomial, we're saying the share price can change 3 times at the end of each time step, meaning the share price can change once at t equal to 2. It can change the second time at t, it can change once at t equal to 2. The second time it can change is at t equal to 4. And the third time it will change is at t equal to 6. Okay, so if we quickly draw a 3-period binomial, it would be something like this. So we have a current share price today. The share price can either increase or decrease, and this is at time step 2 at t equal to 2. Okay, from t equal to 2, from each node there can be again 2 possible share prices, and that share price change will happen at t equal to 4. Okay, so the share price can either go up or down, and this is we are talking about t equal to 4. Okay, this is from the upper node of t equal to 2. From the bottom node of t equal to 2 also, the share price can either go up or it can fall down. Okay, this is at t equal to 4. Similarly, from each node at t equal to 4, there can be further either an increase or a decrease in share price, and the share price change this time will happen at t equal to 6. Okay, which is the last time step. Okay, so from the upper node, the share price can either increase or it can decrease. From the middle node at t equal to 4, the share price can either increase or it can further decrease. And from the bottommost node at t equal to 4, the share price can again increase or it could decrease. Okay, so if you actually look at this, you have 4 possible share prices. So we can have 4 possible share prices. Okay, but the number of paths will actually be 2 power 3, which is equal to 8 paths. This 3 is nothing but the 3-period binomial. We use the 3-period binomial, right? So it is basically, I mean, if you use a 2-period binomial, it will be 2 square. We had 4 possible paths. If you use a 10-period binomial, the number of paths will actually be 2 power 10. Okay, so it could have 8 paths. And if I could just highlight it, there's only one way to reach this node. The share price has to increase from the current share price to the upper node at t equal to 2. From the upper node, it should again move to the upper node at t equal to 4. And from here, it should again increase to reach this share price at t equal to 6. So there is only one possible path, which is nothing but going this way. That is the only possible path to reach this share price. Similarly, on the bottom side also, you are going to have only one possible path, which is nothing but this way. The share price has to fall 3 times to reach the bottommost node at t equal to 6. Okay, but each of the middle share prices are going to have 3 possible paths. Okay, and that is why we said 1 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1 is equal to 8 paths. Okay, the 3 paths are the share price at t equal to 0. Let me just write this as t equal to 0. the share price at t equal to 0 needs to first increase at t equal to 2. Okay, it will reach at this point. From t equal to 2, it can further increase to reach this point at t equal to 4. And then from t equal to 4, it can fall down to reach this particular share price. Okay, that is one possible path. The other possible path to reach the same share price is the share price increases from t equal to 0 to t equal to 2, but then at t equal to 2, it falls down to t equal to 4, and then from t equal to 4, it rises to reach this particular share price at t equal to 6. Okay, so the first path that we saw was basically it rises twice from t equal to 0 to t equal to 2, and from t equal to 2 to t equal to 4, it rises both the times and then falls. Over here, what we are saying is it rises first, then falls, and then again rises. The third possible path will be it falls first and then rises from t equal to 2 to t equal to 4, and again from t equal to 4 to t equal to 6. Okay, so there are three possible paths to reach this particular share price. So although the share price is 1, the means to arrive at that share price are actually 3. Similarly, you can also see that there are going to be 3 paths for this particular node as well. Okay, so the total number of paths are actually going to be 8. Okay, so the share price can actually travel in 8 different paths. Okay, although the ultimate share price is going to be one of the 4, the paths are basically 8. Okay, the share price can travel in 1 out of 8 paths. Okay, that is with regard to a 3-period binomial. After a 3-period binomial, you can have a 4-period binomial. What are we going to do in a 4-period binomial? We will basically split the whole option contract period of 6 months into 4 time parts, or 4 equal periods, where each time part is of 1.25 months. Okay, which means similar to how I drew a 3-period binomial, I'm not going to draw a 4-period binomial. Okay, but we will basically have 4 time steps, meaning each time step is going to be of 1.25 months. Okay, is it 1.25 actually? No, it'll be 1.5 months. I'm sorry. So 6 months broken down into 4 time steps will be 1.5 months. Okay, and the share price is now going to change 4 times in that whole option contract period. Once at t equal to 1.5, the second time at t equal to 3, the third time at t equal to 4.5, and the fourth time it will change is at t equal to 6. Okay, and from every particular node, there are going to be 2 possible share prices. Okay, and in a 4-period binomial, the number of paths are going to be 2 power 4, which is 16. Okay, similarly, you will have a 5-period binomial, then you will go on to a 6-period binomial. So in a 6-period binomial, the time steps will be 6. Okay, and the length of each time step will be 1 month. Okay, which means you're now saying that the share price will change every month, and from each particular node, there can be 2 possible share prices. Okay, so one thing that will happen is the ultimate number of share prices, possible share prices, will keep increasing, because in a single period binomial, we had only 2 possible share prices. In a 2-period binomial, we had 3 possible share prices. In a 3-period binomial, we had 4 possible share prices. So the number of share prices actually keeps increasing, and the number of paths also keeps increasing rapidly. Okay, in a 4-period binomial, we saw that the number of paths are going to be 2 power 4, right? And in a 6-period, it will be 2 power 6, and it will keep increasing that way. So the number of paths that a share price can take from t equal to 0 up to t equal to 6 is going to magnify rapidly. Okay, and then we will then reach a stage where the whole option period will be broken down into infinite small time steps, where each time step is the length of each time step is like a moment. Okay, you can think of it to be like a second. Okay, and we say that in a binomial model, the share price will change at the end of each time step. And now we are saying that the length of each time step is actually a second or a moment. Okay, and then which means we are arriving at a situation where the share price is actually going to change every moment or every second. And finally, we have actually arrived at how share prices actually work in real world, because in real world, share prices actually keep changing every moment, right? So from the illogical assumption that we had initially, where we said that the share price will change only once and it can have only 2 possible share prices, we have now reached the situation where the share price we are saying will change every second because we have broken that whole 6-month option contract into infinite small time steps, right? And the share price changes at the end of each time step. Here, the length of each time step is nothing but a millisecond or a second, right? So the share price changes every second, and the number of possibilities of share price at the end of the option contract, which is at t equal to 6, in a single period binomial model, we said at t equal to 6, there can be only 2 possible share prices. In a 2-period binomial model, we said that the share price at the end of at t equal to 6 can only be 3. Okay, there are only 3 possible share prices. In a 3-period binomial, we said the share prices can be one of the 4 possibilities. Okay, and now if we have broken it down into infinite small time steps, the possibility of share price at t equal to 6 can be a huge range of outcomes, and that is how the real world works, right? At t equal to 6, nobody can predict that the share price will be either this or that. Okay, the share price can be a range of outcomes, which is what we are actually going to arrive at. Okay, so when we break the whole option contract into infinite small time steps, there are 2 conclusions. One, we're saying that since the number of time steps are going to be infinite, the length of each time step is going to be like that of a second, and therefore the share price changes at the end of each time step, where each time step is nothing but a second. Therefore, the share price actually changes every second, which is how the real world works. And the second conclusion is, we are not restricting ourselves to saying that the possibilities of share prices are only going to be 2 or 3 at the end of the option contract. We are saying that the possibilities of share prices is going to be a huge wide range at the end of the option contract, which is again how the real world works. Okay, so if somebody comes and asks you what the share price is going to be at the end of t equal to 6, you will never give 2 possible outcomes, like, right? I mean, like single period binomial gives us 2 possible outcomes. A 2-period binomial gave us 3 possible outcomes, but you can obviously never give 3 possible outcomes, right? You will always give a huge range of outcomes because the share price can move anywhere in the next 6 months, right? So basically we have now arrived to how the real world works. Okay, and we arrived at it by breaking down the whole 6-month option contract period into infinitely small time steps. Okay, so before giving you the equation for the Black-Scholes model, I would like to convey to you clearly that Black-Scholes model is nothing but binomial model where the number of time steps tend towards infinity. Okay, in a binomial model, we initially started off with a single period, and then we saw 2-period, 3-period, and then we also spoke about a 6-period binomial. If you continue doing that, and you reach a stage where the binomial model is the number of time steps or the number of periods in a binomial model is tending towards infinity, what you arrive is at Black-Scholes model. Okay, the only difference being Black-Scholes has put it into a dirty and an elegant formula. I'm using both the opposite adjectives at the same time. Okay, the Black-Scholes has given a formula which is doing nothing but what the binomial was doing. Okay, the underlying logic for the Black-Scholes model is exactly the same as that of binomial, with few additional assumptions that Black-Scholes model takes, which the binomial does not. Okay, it probably might look a little too theoretical and unbelievable. You know, I can just say it, you know, that when the number of periods in binomial tend towards infinity, if we approach Black-Scholes, it's easy to say that. Okay, but of course it's very difficult for you to imagine, you know, an infinite period binomial, right? Okay, so I'll just show something up to you, and I'm showing this to you without even giving you the formula of Black-Scholes model, and that is completely fine. Okay, so I've brought the Excel sheet in front of on the screen. So this is basically a DerivaGem software which is available on the official website of John C. Hull. So John C. Hull is a famous author for derivatives, and this DerivaGem software is available as part of his on his website. I will share the description with you below. I will give you the website as part of the description below. Okay, so you can download it and probably play around with it as well. It has got multiple sheets. Okay, so, but the sheet that I will be referring to is equity FX index futures options calculator. Okay, because we are talking about equity options, right? So I am going to stick myself to this particular sheet. The same sheet can also be used for foreign exchange options, index options and options on futures. Okay, you might have not heard of it, but you can also have options on future contracts. Okay, so the same sheet is going to be used for that. Okay, and so I'll slowly explain it to you as in when we progress. Okay, so if you remember in the previous session, we basically took an example where we had to calculate the value of a call option under a two-period binomial, where we assumed these facts. The stock price is 170, the strike price is 160, which means the call is already in the money. It is in the money by about $10. The risk-free rate is 7% per annum, compounded continuously. Volatility is 18% per annum, which is again compounded continuously. And this volatility is nothing but the standard deviation of the underlying share's returns. Okay, you have a share, you calculate the returns of that share, and then you calculate the standard deviation on a per annum basis. So you have to annualize the standard deviation. On a per annum basis, it is 18% compounded continuously. And the time to maturity of option is 6 months. Okay, I have basically input the same values that I had over here into this Excel file. So I first selected the underlying type to be equity, and then I input the stock price to be 170. The volatility, it is asking on a percentage per year basis, and I've input at 18%. Risk-free rate at 7%. Again, this is on a per year basis. And then within option type, it is asking me to choose one of the 7 possible drop-down menu. The first one being Black-Scholes model used for European options. Second one, binomial for again European options. Third one, binomial for American options. And the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh, which is Asian and barrier options, are outside the scope of curriculum for CA final and for CFA. Whereas in FRM, you have a chapter called as exotic options, wherein you will actually see what this Asian option is and barrier options are. Okay, so for now, first I will stick to binomial option European. Okay, and then we have life of 0.5 years. The strike price is 160. The number of tree steps I am first pressing as 2. Okay, tree steps basically mean the 2-period binomial. I mean, if 2 tree steps basically refers to 2-period binomial. Okay, 10 tree steps refers to 10-period binomial. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm pressing calculate, because first thing that I want to show you is the answer that this calculator is giving should be the same as what we got when we solved the 2-period binomial. Okay, if you remember, we actually solved the 2-period binomial on the Excel and the notepad. Okay, so the answer that this Excel file this calculator is giving me should exactly match with what we had or what we solved manually under the 2-period binomial. Okay, so I'm pressing calculate. I've chosen call option and I'm pressing calculate. It is giving me a price of 18.636, which is $18.64. Okay, and if I just come to the other sheet as well, we had the value of a call option to be 18.64. Okay, so the calculator is basically working perfectly. It obviously has to work perfectly. Okay, so it's throwing us the price of a call option of 18.64, and then it is also giving us various option Greeks. Okay, we have not learned the interpretation of any of these, but we have learned the interpretation of delta. Delta of $0.75 means when the share price increases by $1, the call option value goes up by 0.75. Or when it decreases, the call option value also decreases by $0.75. Okay, so this is the value of a call option. And then you have an option to click on display tree. If I click on display tree, it is actually going to throw a tree on my face. And this tree is exactly going to be like what we actually constructed. If you look at it, let's take the middle node, we had, this calculator is giving 186 and 155 at the middle node. And we also had 186 and 155 at the middle node. Okay. And if you see the other information that is there over here, it is giving you a probability of up move P of 0.5755. Okay, and in our Excel file also, we had probability of 0.5755, and we got the same probability when we were working on it on a notepad as well. We got a probability of 0.5757, but we rounded it off to 0.5755. Okay, and then it is showing us a U of 1.0942. I think, apologies, there's something. Yeah, it's showing us an up move of 1.0942 and a down move of 0.9139. And this will also exactly match with what we had, U of 1.0942, down move of 0.9139. Okay. And what we actually denoted as R over here, 1.0177, Hull actually gives it a notation of A. Okay, so if I go to the other Excel file, you would see the growth factor per step A is 1.0177. So what we denoted as capital R, which is nothing but e power RT, Hull has denoted that as A. Okay, and then this is of course the time step where he's saying each time step is 0.25 years. 0.25 years is nothing but 3 months. And even we assume the same thing, right? 3 months to be each time step. Okay, so the number of time steps are 2, where each time step is 0.25 years or 3 months, which is equal to 91.25 days. Okay, and this is the discount factor. This discount factor should be is nothing but 1 divided by A ideally. Okay, so e power minus RT is the discount factor. Okay, and if you see, the value that we have got at each node will be the same as what we calculated using pen and paper. Okay, if I press this button return to calculator, I will be basically the sheet will get deleted and I will go back to the calculator. Okay, so I've come back here. Okay, similarly you can calculate the price of a put option as well. The price of a put option is 3.13. Okay, which means that if you want to buy a put option, you given these conditions, the price that you, the premium that you will have to pay as a holder to the writer is 3.13. Okay, and the delta of put option is minus 0.245 or minus 0.25. Okay, if you remember, the delta of call was 0.75. The delta of put option over here is minus 0.25. Okay, and our golden rule was delta of a call plus absolute value or modulus of delta of put should be equal to 1. Okay, so it was 0.75 there. It is plus 0.25. Modulus of minus 0.25 is plus 0.25. 0.75 plus 0.25 is equal to 1. Okay, so that condition has to get satisfied. And similarly, you can again press a display tree for this as well. Okay, so simply I'm just to show you, I'm clicking on 8 tree steps, which means this is an 8-period binomial model, and I'm pressing calculate. I'm going to call option and pressing calculate. The price of a call option is 18.35. Okay, and if you remember, a 2-period binomial actually gave us the call value to be 18.64. Okay, a 1-period binomial, if I actually show you 1 period, it gave us 19.41 to be the value of a call option. Okay, the 2-period binomial gave us a value of 18.64 with the same facts. I've not changed any facts. The only thing that I did is I increased the number of time steps. Okay, 18.64, when I made the number of time steps to be 8, has now become 18.36. Okay, so as the number of time steps are increasing, the value of the call option is actually decreasing. Okay, but it is I mean, as the number of time steps increase, the value of the call option will decrease. This only holds good when you're operating at 1 to 10. Okay, so just like how the value of the call option decreased from 1 time step to 8th time step, okay, it does not mean that when you go from 8th time step to, say, a 200th time step or something like that, it is not necessary for the call option to decrease. It may decrease in this case, but it is not necessary. But yes, when you move from 1 step to 2 steps and from 2 to 5 to 10, the call option value or the put option value will generally decrease. But that does not mean that after the 10th step also the put option value will keep decreasing. That is absolutely not true. It is not necessary. Okay, it might happen in this case, but it is not necessary for it to hold good in all the cases. Okay, so an 8 tree step is giving you a price of 18.36, and I can click on display tree here as well, and it's going to give me an 8-period binomial. Okay, so what this has done is it has broken the 0.5 years into 8 time steps, where each time step is 0.0625 years. Okay, 0.8, so it will be about less than a month, right? I mean, it will be about a little more than 15 days or something, right? So each time step is about 0.0625 years. So 0.0625 into 365. Each time step is for about 23 days. Okay, so 23 days is each time step, and there are 8 such time steps. Okay, so this into 8 will give you 6 months, which is 182 days. Okay, so it is broken into 8 time steps, and it is giving you the value of a call option to be 18.34, where the number of share prices in future, if you actually see the possible share prices, you're going to have 4 possible share prices plus another how many? 5 possible. So the total number of share prices is actually 9. Okay, so a 8 period binomial model has 9 possible share prices. Okay, and if you actually go back and if you press a 10 period binomial, calculate, and then I'm displaying the tree, a 10 period binomial will actually have 5 possible share prices plus, how many is this? Another 6 possible share prices. So the total possible is 11 possible share prices, which means if you actually notice, a single period binomial had 2 possible share prices, 2 period binomial had 3 possible share prices, 3 period has 4 possible share prices, 8 period had 9 possible share prices, a 10 period binomial has 11 possible share prices, which means the number of possible share prices is going to be n plus 1, provided u and d over here at each time step is actually equal. Okay, if you see over here, this node and this node are actually converging to the same particular share price. Okay, that will not happen if your u and d for this node is going to be different for the u and d at this node. Okay, for instance, if you assume u, okay, so the u and d over here are 1.0411 and 0.9606. Okay, so what this tree has done is, it has, for arriving at the upper share price, it has multiplied the middle node with 1.0411, and the to arrive at the bottom share price, it has multiplied the middle node by 0.9606, and it has done the same process until end. Okay, but if you change u and d somewhere in between, okay, and u and d is dependent on volatility. Okay, so if you change if you say that the volatility for the first 3 months is going to be X percentage and the volatility for the next 3 months is going to be Y percentage, then the u and d that you have for the second period is not going to be the same as u and d for the first period. Okay, and if you do not hold that good, then the number of share prices, I mean, this will not be a converging binomial model. They will basically arrive at 2 different possible share prices at this particular node, and the number of possible share prices will actually magnify. Okay, but all softwares, I mean, that's not relevant. What I spoke is not relevant for examination viewpoint at all. Okay, forget it if you did not understand. All softwares will ensure that they're all converging binomial models. Okay, which means the share price that you're going to have at this particular node is going to be the same whether you arrive from the top or whether you come from the bottom. Okay, so you are going to have n plus 1 possible share prices, and if you know, the number of paths over here is going to be 2 power 10. Okay, because we are working with a 10 period binomial, the number of possible paths for a share price will be 2 power 10, where 2 power 10 is 1024 paths. Okay, which means you're saying that a share price can take 1024 possible paths to arrive at one of the share prices at the end of t equal to 6. Okay, now the disadvantage of this software is, first, it will not, okay, I'll just show you. Let's say I'm clicking on 12 time steps, I press calculate, it's giving me the price of the call option, but when I press on display tree, it throws an error saying the tree can be displayed for a maximum of only 10 steps. Okay, when I press OK, it is going to show me only 10 time steps. It will not give me a tree beyond 10 steps. Okay, so that is one disadvantage, but it will give you the value of the call option beyond 10 steps as well. Okay, so when I press 12 over here, it's giving me the value of a call option, but it's not giving me a tree. Okay, that is the first disadvantage. Second, if I press 510 time steps and I press calculate, it won't give me an answer because the maximum number of time steps can only be 500. Beyond 500, it won't give me the price of the call option also. Okay, so if I press 500 here and press calculate, it's going to give me the value of the call option to be 18.20, but it obviously won't display the tree because tree, the maximum is only 10. And if I, apologies, If I press anything more than 500, it won't give me the value of the call option also. Okay, so that is the second disadvantage. The third disadvantage which I can work with is it won't give me the value of the call option if I press one tree step. Okay, the minimum number of tree steps that needs to be input is 2. I don't know why, but I feel it would have been better if it would have given one time step at least. Okay, but anyways, single period binomial, we ourselves can calculate it. We don't need this calculator. We ourselves have actually calculated a single period and even 2 period. Okay, single period gives us a value of 19.41. Okay, so anyways, so the minimum number of tree steps is 2, maximum is 500. The maximum number of tree steps for you to have a diagram is 10. Okay, that is the disadvantage. Okay, this is with regard to binomial European option. Okay, binomial model European option. So in practical life, nobody's going to take a pen and a paper and keep drawing binomial trees like how we are doing. They're obviously going to use calculators like these. There could be calculators which give you the answer for beyond 500 steps also. I don't know. Okay, but this software, which I can assure is a reliable one, gives you an answer up to 500 tree steps, and it gives a diagram up to 10 tree steps. Okay. Next, I am now clicking on Black-Scholes. Okay, remember the answer for, okay, I'm just pressing 2 tree steps. The answer that we got for 2 period binomial is 18.64. Okay, now I am actually clicking on Black-Scholes European. I've not given you the formula of Black-Scholes, I agree. Okay, but I've made one statement wherein I said that as the number of periods in a binomial option tend towards infinity, the binomial model answer converges towards Black-Scholes. Okay, so I am clicking on Black-Scholes first, and then I'm pressing calculate. I have not changed any input. Okay, I'm pressing calculate. The answer is 18.199 or 18.20. Okay, so if you actually realized one single period binomial gave us, apologies, a single period binomial gave us a value of 19.4. Okay, when we went to a 2 period binomial, it gave us an answer of 18.64. Okay, Black-Scholes has given us an answer of 18.20. If you actually see, even a 2 period binomial model, the answer of it is not much different from the Black-Scholes. Okay, it was 18.6 in the 2 period binomial, 18.20 in Black-Scholes. Okay, it is not, okay, there is a marginal difference, I'm not denying that, but that difference is like very close to each other. It's marginal. Okay, had binomial given me an answer of 10 and Black-Scholes given me an answer of 18.2, then I would have disregarded binomial to be a completely, nonsensical model. Whereas the difference between binomial and Black-Scholes is actually very, very less. Okay, it's marginal, I agree. Okay, but we actually saw a 2 period binomial. Okay, but the statement that I passed was, when the number of time steps in a binomial tend towards infinity, then the binomial model answer will be exactly equal to the Black-Scholes answer. We are doing a comparison between a 2 period binomial and Black-Scholes. Okay, so now what I've done was, I basically plotted these values. I basically took steps from 1 to 500 because this calculator will not give me value for a binomial option after 500, right? The maximum number of time steps is 500, and I'm okay, I can deal with 500. Okay, I cannot obviously sit and calculate an infinite period binomial, right? I can deal with 500 period binomial tree. I have plotted the answer that this calculator gave me for each of the binomial model, for each of the number of time steps. Okay, for instance, if I click on binomial European and I click on, say, number of time steps to be 250 and I press calculate, the price it's showing is 18.2. Against 250, I pasted the same value of 18.2019. Okay, so that is what I've done. The 1 period binomial, I took it from our Excel file because this calculator does not give me one period binomial answer. Okay, so I plotted the answer for all such number of tree steps. Black-Scholes model, it basically, if you actually saw, when I click on Black-Scholes model for European option, the time steps actually vanishes. Okay, the time steps is not required as an input for Black-Scholes, it's required as an input for binomial. Okay, so the Black-Scholes answer is 18.199. If you see 18.199, 5286, I pasted that value across all the periods because actually Black-Scholes is independent of tree steps, but I wanted a comparison between binomial and Black-Scholes. And based on that, I actually plotted this graph. If I zoom it in a little, so on the x-axis, we actually have the number of time steps. On the y-axis, we have the price, the call option premium, okay? What we calculated as per the binomial model and what we got as per the Black-Scholes model. Black-Scholes model is that red line, which is parallel to x-axis, which means that the Black-Scholes premium is not dependent on the number of time steps. When any line is parallel to x-axis, it means that its value does not depend on the value of x, right? Okay, so the Black-Scholes premium is a straight line. The blue curve is basically the answer that is given by a binomial model. Okay, so if when we worked with a single period binomial model, the binomial gave us an answer of 19.41. Black-Scholes gave us an answer of 18.20. Okay, so the range or the gap between Black-Scholes and binomial was significant. It was $1.2, which is quite significant. Okay, but when we moved from 1 to 2, the binomial gave us an answer of 18.6. Black-Scholes was 18.2 itself. Okay, the gap narrowed down, and if you see, the gap keeps narrowing down as we move to the 50th period. Almost the binomial model touches the Black-Scholes model curve. Okay, almost as we reach 50 or slightly more than 50, the binomial actually touches the Black-Scholes. And if I zoom it a little, you see that binomial and Black-Scholes almost go hand in hand over here. At slightly over here, I'm not sure if you will be able to see, I see a portion of the blue curve, very little, a portion has actually crossed the red curve from bottom. Okay, the binomial curve has actually crossed the Black-Scholes curve from bottom, which means if I show you in numbers, 150 period binomial, the answer is 18.195, whereas Black-Scholes is 18.199. Okay, if you see at 150th period binomial curve, the call premium as per the binomial model went slightly below the Black-Scholes call premium. Okay, and then again it went up. If you see over here, again the curve goes up, and again if I again zoom it a little, at 350th period, somewhere over here at 350th period, the binomial model curve again slightly cuts the Black-Scholes curve from the bottom. Okay, and if we look at it, 350th or maybe 300, that is, yeah, sorry, 300, it is 18.198 under the binomial model and 18.199 under the Black-Scholes. Okay, 300th is basically this one over here. It slightly cuts it from the bottom. Okay, so and at the 500th period, if you look at it, or let's say if you look at it from 400th period, it is 18.201, 18.199. So the difference is actually 0.002, or 199 is actually 18.200. So the difference has narrowed down to 0.001. Okay, over here it's 18.197, 18.199, 18.20, 18.20. Okay, at 500 it has almost come down. I mean, if you see the difference between Black-Scholes and binomial has basically come down to 0.002. Okay, so which means as the number of time steps in a binomial model keep increasing, the value under the binomial model converges to the Black-Scholes model. Black-Scholes is doing nothing but what the binomial model did, the only difference being the number of time steps in Black-Scholes are infinite. Okay, it is considering that the number of time steps is going to be infinite, which also means that the possible share prices are also going to be a huge range of values. Okay, we're not going to restrict ourselves by saying that the possible share price at t equal to 6 will be either this or this or this. It's going to be a huge range of outcomes. Okay, that is what I basically wanted to show. So we have actually seen that in a 500 period binomial model, the binomial model call option value converges to the Black-Scholes model. Probably if you go beyond 500, maybe at 1000 or 1500 or 2000, who knows, that difference of 0.002 might actually become 0.0002 or 0.000 something, right? It will become very, 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 very close to each other. Okay, so what I was basically trying to say is, one, binomial is not a stupid model. Okay, although the assumptions under binomial model that we made seemed to be stupid, but it is not a ridiculous model. You should not be disregarding it, because what Black-Scholes is doing is what binomial gave us also, and the difference between the two-period binomial and Black-Scholes was marginal. Okay, it was 18.6 and 18.2. Okay, it was slightly like there was a slight difference. Okay, and Black-Scholes, the underlying logic of it is nothing but the same as binomial model. It is doing exactly what the binomial model does. Okay, the interpretation for Black-Scholes model, I have not given you the formula. The interpretation of Black-Scholes will come after I give you the formula. Okay, the interpretation can be done in three possible ways. In the same way how we actually did the binomial model, you can also interpret the Black-Scholes model. First one, I think this is the easiest. It involves no mathematics. It's absolute intuition. Okay, and it's going to, everybody is going to understand. Possibly, not everyone will be able to understand risk neutral and delta hedging, but we'll make the best possible approach. I will be making a separate video for risk neutral and delta hedging to make you understand. Okay, but portfolio replication, I can assure that every person will understand portfolio replication or the interpretation of Black-Scholes using portfolio replication. Okay, so Black-Scholes model can be interpreted in three ways. One, using the portfolio replication. Two, using the risk neutral method. And three, using the delta hedging or the delta neutral method. Okay, I will probably end this video over here. I don't want this video to be too long. In the next session, I will introduce Black-Scholes formula to you. Like I said, it's going to be a little elegant, little dirty, too much of math, or I mean, you don't have to really get into the math actually, but yeah, it will involve some efforts from your end to actually remember the formula. It's not going to be a simple formula like d1 upon re minus g. It's going to be a little complicated formula. I will probably tell you how to remember also, but it needs a little effort from your end as well. I will end this session over here. Thank you guys.